What if I told you both The Godfather and Blood In Blood Out are pretty similar? One can argue that Blood In Blood Out is the Mexican version of The Godfather. Although they are two completely different movies, and one of them being critically acclaimed as one of the best movies in the world, I'll show you how both movies share these three similar themes and ideas so that you can tell your family and friends how Blood In Blood Out is the Mexican version of The Godfather. With that, let's start with its family dynamic aspect. Both Blood In Blood Out and The Godfather are two movies that are heavy on
family.
With The Godfather, it is based on an Italian-American crime family of Don Vito Corleone, and the movie revolves around this family. You got Vito Corleone, who is the Godfather, Sonny Corleone, who's the oldest, Fredo Corleone, who is the middle child, Michael Corleone, who's the youngest, and Connie Corleone being the only daughter. When a specific event happens in the movie, all of these family members play a significant part in the story, which is why this movie is heavy on the family aspect. With Blood In Blood Out, there are three main characters to this story. Two stepbrothers named Paco, or how I like to formally call him,
El Gallo Negro, the baddest Chicano in the barrio,
and Cruz, along with their biracial cousin Miklo. These three were members in an East LA gang until a specific event happened, similar to The Godfather. The lives of these three men go in a complete different route from each other and play a significant part to the story. Therefore, this verifies Blood In Blood Out and The Godfather's similarities because of the family dynamic. With family dynamic out of the way, let's move on to the second similarity, which is the genre. Both of these movies fall in the gangster genre. With The Godfather, this takes place in New York City between 1945 and the 1950s, with Don Vito Corleone being the head of the family mafia. In this movie, you had gangsters with a mobster fit, guns, shootout, betrayal, vengeance, and so much more when it comes to these gangster genres. These are the typical things you tend to see when you watch a gangster film. When we look at Blood In Blood Out, this is a different generation of a gangster film from back in the day. This movie takes place between the 1970s and the 1980s and takes place in East Los Angeles rather than New York. You're not going to see anyone dressed as mobsters during this time at this place, but instead you get gang members with bandanas, tank tops, flannels, button-ups, etc. In a sense, this was how the gangsters were dressing up during this time. And of course, you have the guns, the shootouts, betrayal, vengeance. Notice a pattern here? This goes to show that both Blood In Blood Out and The Godfather are both similar because they are within the same genre. Finally, let's talk about the last topic that makes these two movies similar, which is the cultural impact these movies made. There is no doubt that both The Godfather and Blood In Blood Out made a cultural impact. With The Godfather, it's considered to be one of the best movies ever made within the cinephile community. From iconic lines,
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse,
iconic shots, and a phenomenal story. There's a reason why this movie is considered one of the best movies to be ever made. Cinephiles can't help but praise this movie. In regards to Blood In Blood Out, however, this movie is not considered one of the best movies. In fact, a lot of cinephiles don't even consider this movie to be in the top 100. Or may not even know this movie at all. Crazy, I know. But one thing's for sure, this made a cultural impact. Not on the cinephile community, but the Chicano community. This movie is somehow part of our culture. It's one of the first gangster films that really dives deep with East LA gangs, which involved Chicanos. This film gave us iconic lines.
Patos Locos forever. Forever! Forever.
And of course, I know some of you were saying this to your friends and messing around.
White bitch, give me some chon chon. Stay away from me.
Iconic shots, and a phenomenal story about three characters. It may not be considered the best movie ever made, but the Chicano community can't help but praise this movie. With both The Godfather and Blood In Blood Out having a family dynamic, being the same genre, and making a cultural impact, these are the reasons why Blood In Blood Out is the Mexican version of The Godfather. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.